up, Squared Nation? Welcome back to No Counters, No Combos. Today we're coming at you from the Mobile Command Center. We used to have a segment on this channel called Tech Talk Tuesday. Now, obviously today is not Tuesday, but I still wanted to talk some tech. If you guys watched the first video I uploaded when I came back to the game of Dragon Ball Super, I talked about focusing on being a budget player and catering towards a budget building style or budget lifestyle. For those of us who are not able to, or this is in fact just a hobby that you want to play for fun, there are some pretty pricey cards in the game. Hobbies, especially card game related hobbies, could get pretty expensive over time, but I feel comfortable in talking Dragon Ball on a budget because I feel like the card pool is extensive enough now where the game is at. I mean, we're moving into set 11, but there have been so many supplemental sets in between, you know, Tournament of Power, the draft boxes, you know, the expansion sets. So I feel comfortable in bringing options that are more budget friendly. I was having a discussion with one of my former teammates, Brian. Dragon Ball has done a really good job of printing cards that do similar things. Obviously not the exact same thing. There's always going to be a more powerful version of the card, but you know, there are cards that do similar things. And the example that I always come up with is Furthering Destruction Kampa and Hidden Power E Supreme Kai. They are essentially the same card. It's one energy for a 10k combo that gives the attacking creature or the attacking battle card double strike. There's slight differences. Champa is a 16k power 3-drop. East Kai is a 2-drop 15k power. The Champa double strike is automatic. There's no declaration. But the East Kai, you do have to declare the double strike on it. So when those cards came out, there were a lot of talks about rotation coming to Dragon Ball Super. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But Dragon Ball does a really good job of printing cards that do similar things. So today I wanted to talk about a couple of budget-friendly counterplay options moving into a predominantly dominated Unison meta. So for the sake of this video, the budget counterplay options I want to talk about, I have here on screen for you. Honorable mention to Silver Bullet, which is the black counterplay. I'm not really convinced on that card just yet. I haven't really appreciated it. I don't think it's as good as it should have been or could be. And you're also going to get Rebellion Hammer in set 11, which is going to outright replace that card because it's just much better. So shout out to Silver Bullet, but in my opinion, it's just not going to cut it like these four would. So these counterplays are obviously specific to their color. They have very similar effects and they have slight bonuses depending on the color that you're playing. So we have God Slicing Black Kamehameha, we have Dark Dragon Slaying Bullet, Peel Off Missile, and Dark Death Ball. So their permanent skill is if you're playing a mono-colored strategy deck, you don't have to pay the energy cost to play the card. You can just discard 2 cards from hand. Now that could be a hefty cost to play a card, but if you're tapped out or if you don't have enough energy to play this card and your opponent's going to try to drop a bomb on you, it might be worth it to just get rid of 2 cards to stop their play. So for God Slicing Black Kamehameha, if you control a blue Unison, draw 1 card, and your opponent's battle card that's being played, if it's a cost 4 or less, you put it at the bottom of the deck instead of being played. So you get to draw a card, which is great, and you get to stop your opponent's play 4 or less. So it's a good value. These are all good value cards because they stop, you know, normally speaking, they're going to stop battle cards that are going to cost more than the cost that you would spend to play the counterplay. So I think these are really good options to just kind of use if you don't have access to like the really super expensive counterplays like the Trunks God Stealing Technique or the Frieza. You know, those cards can be quite expensive. So these are, in my opinion, pretty good budget options. And if you're pacing yourself properly and not tapping out, you can have access to them as often as you need. So I like God Slicing Black Kamehameha. Dark Dragon Slaying Bullet, same thing, yellow Unison in play. The card that's being played, your opponent's battle card 4 or less, you played it in rest mode and its skills get negated for the turn. Peel Off Missile, if your opponent's battle card is 15k or less, you put it in the drop area instead of it being played, and then your leader gets plus 5k. And then Dark Death Ball, which is probably overall the best one. If your opponent's battle card being played is 4 or less, you put it in the drop area, and then additionally you get to KO one of your opponent's battle card that costs 1. We're obviously moving into a unison heavy format, so these cards are going to be live for most strategies. I feel like most decks are playing unisons at this point. So it's just a nice little budget option instead of having to shell out like what, $10 to $15 for like the expensive SR counterplays. Obviously, if that's what you want to go for, all the more power to you. But for the budget aspect of the game, these can get the job done if used properly. Because they're pretty hefty and they're not battle card counterplays, they're extra card counterplays, I would probably only include maybe like 2 copies per deck. You really only need to shut down your opponent's big play, one time if that's going to be detrimental to their strategy. Like if your opponent taps 4 to play a 4-drop, which is not very common, but if it happens, at least you have an answer to it, and you're going to set them back a couple turns or at least a turn. So in my opinion, if you guys are looking for more budget-friendly options, like I said before, I would pick these up. They're probably a few cents, couple bucks. Maybe you got them lying around in your common bulk from set 10, but in my opinion, these cards they're pretty strong. I mean, obviously, they're going to be less played as opposed to their flashier counterparts. But I think, if you're trying to play smart, if you're trying to still have answers to your opponent's plays, it might be something, worth looking into. I mean, I've been experimenting with the set 10 Trunks deck, and I'm playing 2 God Slicing Black Kamehamehas in that deck, and it's been working out pretty well. So I think these cards should be involved a little more in the conversation than they have been. And if you're looking for counterplay options, by all means, I definitely would take a chance on these cards for the time being, unless you want to go the more expensive route. Of course, that's all up to you. But let me know what you guys think about these cards in the comment section down below. Let's open it up for discussion. Have you guys had success with these cards? Are you using them in your current deck builds? Let's talk about it. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Be there or be squared.